you and the upcoming Avengers saga and everything that's happening with that. So today the Russo brothers posted a picture, if you haven't seen it, and it's a picture of a studio and them just there chilling, hanging out. The picture is very cryptic and it's very mysterious, if you want to say, just because they want people talking. Of course, that's what they do with these movies and when they do marketing and all that stuff. So that's how Marvel does it, and I like what they're doing, honestly. They be putting out some good stuff. I know the Avengers is something that's very popular. It's a big IP. It's massive, and we already know that when the next Avengers movie drops, it's going to be fire. It's going to be so amazing, honestly. Ace, what's up? Not much, just here talking and chilling with y'all. You already know it. We're just here talking about the MCU today, just because the Russo brothers posted up a picture. Did you see it? That picture looks pretty interesting. I see what they're doing. They're trying to tease out what's to come, and they just want people to be talking and things like that. So that's understandable. I can't wait. I can't wait for the next Avengers movie and stuff like that. It's gonna be awesome. It's going to be fun. It's gonna be much better than where the hell we're at right now. Especially with this whole situation with with DC is at and stuff like that. So once we get with Marvel the game back again in the sense of the movies and stuff like that, the industry is going to change. We need it. We need it, honestly. It's doing real bad right now, and look, DC's not saving the comic book industry. I know Marvel isn't either, but at least Marvel's putting out better content than DC and stuff like that. DC has been dropping slop and it's just not working and things like that. So we'll see what happens. And once Marvel drops that Avengers movie, we're going to be seeing how things are going to be changing with them. But I'm excited. I'm really excited and stuff. What's my favorite Marvel? When you mean what movie? I want to say Iron Man 2. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I actually like Iron Man 2. Civil War was all right. To me, some of the movies, not everything in the MCU was good. I like some of it and stuff for the most part and stuff. Fabian, what's up? You already know it. Restore Snyderverse. Hell yeah. We will stop at nothing. You already know it. I didn't see the Marvel Zombies. I'm not honestly. I'm not even keeping up with that. Did you see Fantastic Four steps? Nah, I still haven't even seen Fantastic Four, honestly. I'm just not interested in those characters, honestly. Like, if I'm not interested, I'm just not gonna watch, honestly. There's a few Marvel movies I have not seen. I still haven't seen Doctor Strange. I still didn't see She Hulk. Um, like there's a bunch of things that I haven't seen just because I tried watching Ant Man. I couldn't get past it. It's just so boring. Just to think that that movie has a trilogy. That's pretty sad, but at the same time, it's like wow. And it sucks because it's like when Zack Snyder was there, they didn't want to do anything with the main characters, and I'm like, damn, how the hell did that slip? Honestly, Jack, what's up? What about Thunderbolts? Nah, I didn't see Thunderbolts either. I wanted to, but again, these are characters that if they don't get my attention, I'm not gonna really watch it, honestly. And I don't know, it didn't sell me. It really didn't. I was trying to force myself to go see it, and I was like, nah, I don't know. I just passed on it. Like I just wasn't feeling it, man. It's kind of hard to get into these movies, especially when they're unknown characters, where it's like, who the hell's this character, And then when they top it off, and the movie came out for Thunderbolts, what it was like on a Friday, like it usually drops, and then on Monday they were changing it to the new Avengers. I was like, what? Like, what the hell? It's like, yo, like these people, Marvel really don't know what the hell they're doing. And I was like, man, how do you go from Thunderbolts to the new Avengers just like that? Just sweep it under the rug and stuff. Um, it's pretty wild. Kenneth, what's up? When Warner Brothers gets sold and fire James Gunn, Kevin Feige and Disney needs to keep James Gunn away from the MCU because Gunn and his influence is the reason why the MCU began to decline. Yeah, I agree with you with that also. I think both of those films were better than hold on, I'm trying to catch up. Than Superman 2025. Yeah, everything was better than Superman 2025, honestly. Let's see. Piero, hey, what's up? Appreciate you for watching also. James Gunn cannot find right cast for Batman. Probably canceled Brave and the Bold after Clayface. Clayface. I want to talk about that in a few real quick. I know we're talking about Marvel and stuff, but I do want to talk about something with Clayface and stuff. Hopefully as soon as the Flash 2 with Ezra comes out, it should be titled The Flash, the Flashpoint Paradox, starring Ezra as Flash and Anthony as Reverse Flash. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, Winter Soldier is good. You know, like for what it is, I like it. You know, Marvel was trying to be like, more dark, and you could see it that they were trying to go for a different take. Just like how they did with Civil War and stuff like that. But you know, I don't know. Marvel is like they wanted to test the waters. They wanted to be like DC, and then they went back to like the whole MCU, what they've always done, which they should have just stuck to that, honestly. And once Batman vs Superman came out, they wanted to be like them, and they even admitted it. They wanted to compete against Batman vs Superman. That's what we got Civil War and stuff. And you could tell from that moment was when they were trying to go a darker route and stuff like that. And of course, Winter Soldier was also darker. I mean, Thunderbolts should have been released a while ago, I guess, just because it had that feeling also. But I think by now it's just people are tired. People are just it's too messy. I think they've opened literally the multiverse to like headaches. And this whole multiverse thing has gotten so out of control that it's like they don't even know what they're doing. Honestly, like they really have no clue. Like it's cool that they've done it, but they haven't been able to keep up with it. They really don't know what the hell they're doing with their own stuff. Did you see He-Man live action first look reboot? No, I haven't seen it. I know that I think it's a picture going around. I'm not sure if it's real or not. I did see some images when they were in their costumes. That was looking cool. I know Jared Leto's going to be playing Skeletor, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with that. So I know he's gonna deliver. He's a good actor and stuff. People like to knock him out, but he's good. I like him. I know he's gonna be in the new Tron movie and stuff. So I think that's coming out very soon. I'm not sure. Pedro, what's up? You already know it. Restore Snyderverse. Winter Soldier is your favorite. Nice, nice. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. The music and everything. So that's pretty cool. Demencio, what's up? The Arrowverse was better than James Gunn's takeover. Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and all that. Yeah, yeah, 10 times better. Honestly, a lot of people are starting to wake up and realize that what James Gunn is doing is trash. That's what it is. Andy Muschietti will leave DCU for now because he's not the right person. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's really gonna happen. And especially and what is it? Somebody told me the other day that apparently Andy Muschietti now has a. I think he has a contract with Paramount. So, and I know he's doing that. I think the Welcome to Perry or whatever it's called. So probably that's why he's been busy. But notice how he hasn't said nothing since the flush. We haven't been hearing anything about him. All we see and hear is just James Gunn talking about his Batman. Did you get to see Fantastic Four? Nope, nope. I really wasn't interested, honestly. I just didn't care about it. I saw what I saw online when it went up and stuff like that, but yeah, I wasn't gonna see it, honestly. Like I'm just not a X Men fan like that, like or Fantastic Four. I've never liked Fantastic Four, honestly. To me, like those characters, I don't know, they just never got my attention and stuff. Gunn hides behind big IP to cover up his mid directing Scooby Doo MCU DC. Yeah, yeah, he really does. Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers better know what they are doing because they are taking a big gamble with Avengers Doomsday and betting on Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. Yeah, you know what? I believe in the Russo brothers and what they're gonna do with Doomsday. I'm telling you straight up, I believe in that. And like I told you, I like big team ups. I like what they did with Endgame. I like what they did with Infinity War. It's not for everybody, but I like what they did with it. It was much better than what the hell we got right now. But like I said, it's just when they do big team ups, that's pretty cool. I really like what they did with that. Winston Duke wants to play Batman DCU, but it's not a good idea. Let's see. There's a lot of people that want to play Batman, but that one's gonna be I think it's gonna be a hard role to fill, and James Gunn knows that there's a lot of pressure on him and stuff like that. Andy and Mongol both going to Paramount. No real plan, no direction. Oh wow, yeah, yeah for sure. Fantastic Four can't sell. Has never been able to sell to the general audience. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't have nothing Fantastic Four in my collection. I don't even care about Fantastic Four. The moment it got announced, I was like, I'm not feeling this, man. Like, I just don't care about those characters. What I am interested is in, and talking about Doomsday from the picture that they posted, meaning the Russo brothers, they say look close. The only thing that I keep seeing everybody speculating and talking about it, if you look at one of the chairs or like a board, whatever is just there in the front, it makes an A representing Avengers, and then you see those rails in the back on the corner that they have a bunch of X, you know. So people are speculating now and they're saying, oh, it's probably going to be the Avengers versus X-Men, which eventually is going to happen. This is what Marvel has been working for, like, you know, after the whole Infinity Saga, whatever the hell it's called now. After Endgame, that's it. That's what they wanted to do eventually. But I feel that it's kind of weak to the start of it, you know. Like I like what they did with Deadpool and Wolverine, but it could have been a little bit better, especially with the whole multiverse beyond what they did. They just brought that in for nostalgia. You know, it's like there's so many things that are out there, like the Celestials. What's up with them? Like, does anybody know anything about them? It's like where the hell they're at. You know, like you can't just ignore that. You know that's just there. You just can't sweep that under the rug. Let's see. Fantastic Four had more serious tone than James Gunn's super goofy Superman movie. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Doucheyant, what's up? What's up? Have you ever watched No Country for Old Man? Nope, never heard of that. I don't even know what that is. Fox's X Men over James Gunn's DCU. Yeah, big time, big time. Even that was Fox, and you know it was crappy, but they were still enjoyable, I guess. Yeah, I heard that James Gunn's trying to get now Catwoman into the DC. Yeah, we already know he's gonna make a slutty Catwoman for sure. You know, knowing James Gunn, you know, like I mean Catwoman's sexy, so you know that's that. But we already know how he's gonna portray these characters and stuff. Fantastic Four. Let me see. First Steps is a great movie, MCU movie, and the best movie on the Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's really awesome and cinematic experience to see. I heard. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff. So, maybe one day I'll check it out. I don't know. It's one of those that I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess I'll check it out. Breaking Bad, not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of Breaking Bad, honestly. Um, if you had a time machine and asked the Superman fans before the movie came out, would you be happy with the movie making 615 million at the end of its run? What do you think they would say? I mean, if you go back and you tell those numbers to people, I mean, back then, let's not forget, like that's if you know how far back you're talking about, but you know, money was more back then. You know, money is not like it used to be anymore. You know, unfortunately, you know, back then you could have $100 and you felt like you had like probably $1,000. Now you have $100 and it feels like you straight up have $1 in your pocket. So it just depends how far we're talking about and stuff. But yeah, I think people back then would have still been, you know, it probably even if it was in the '90s, you tell somebody, oh, you know, like this movie's gonna make 600 million, they'll be like, what? You know, like that would be nuts. You know, just because of the time and stuff like that. But you know, for what we have right now, this James Gunn Superman, you know, it should have made money, but it really didn't. Domestically, it made somewhat, but worldwide, nah, it was a joke. You seen the Penguin series? Yeah, I saw the Penguin series. It was all right. It wasn't all right. It wasn't something out of this world either. You know, I know a lot of people are like straight up glazing over it. No offense to the ones that are, but to me, I was like, yo, like I've seen this already. Straight up, you know where? The Nolan verse. That's where we seen it. That's Christopher Nolan style. He brings that realistic take to it and stuff like that. No Country for Old Men is one of the best movies ever. Okay, nice. The Flash, Flashpoint Paradox, the Flash 2023 sequel, similar to the cartoon. One Justice League, the Flashpoint is the same history, but it's live action. Oh, nice, nice. That's good. Let's see. Heard they had to keep Gunn on a very short leash at Disney. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Disney already knows what James Gunn is all about, you know. But I'm telling you right now that they've already announced and they're starting the marketing, they're starting to like heat things up with Avengers Doomsday. I'm telling you right now, yo, the days of the DC, they're coming to an end. They are really coming to an end. This is what I'm telling y'all. Like I'm gonna talk about two things in a few. I'm just trying to catch up with the comments and stuff. Yes, best mortality movie ever than the antagonist and All right. CS needs to see No Country for Old Men. Okay, I'm gonna put that on my to watch list and stuff, bro. You should do watch. Oh, you should watch Dexter. Dexter. Yeah, another one that really doesn't catch my attention. I know it has a huge fan base and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just picky. I don't know. You know, it's just like certain things catch my attention, other things don't. To be honest, James Gunn, along with Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns, is the worst thing to happen to comic book history. I mean, to comic book movies, because Gunn only makes a mockery, awful jokes, and toxic, silly takes on comic book movies. Yeah, I agree with you, Kenneth. That's exactly what he is. He takes everything as a joke, you know. But look, now that we're talking about this real quick, you know, I just want to catch up with the comments real quick. Two things I really want to talk about regarding James Gunn, you know, DC and Marvel and all this stuff. I know that notice how James Gunn now, all right, look, this is just like this is so messy. Like I'm trying to see where do I start. James Gunn in the original slate never had Clayface, right? We've been hearing all these rumors left and right about, you know, like with the Batman 2 and how long it's been taking and you know, would it join eventually the DCU? I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's going to join it. You know why? They're doing now Batman. What is it? The Batman 2 is supposed to be darker and scarier. Okay, that will fall into what they're doing with Clayface right now. It's dark and scary. It's gonna be R-rated. Are they gonna finally do a R-rated Batman with Matt Reeves and throw it into the DCU? I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's all starting to sound like slop. You get what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden now, you're gonna have Matt Reeves the Batman 2 be darker and more scarier. That's not Batman. Oh, but it's a fucking problem when Zack Snyder wants to do a brute badass Batman, right? That's a problem. See the hypocrisy that I can't stand of WB? Oh, with James Gunn, let them do whatever the hell they want, right? But when Zack was there, oh no, it's a problem. When David Ayer were there, oh that's a problem. That's why I like what Disney did. That they fired James Gunn. They got rid of him. Literally, they were like, no, you know what? You're done with this contract. We're moving on and so be it. And then talking about moving on, and I know somebody just posted in the comments that Zombie Marvels or whatever, the Marvel Zombies or whatever the hell it's called. I know that I saw a picture. I've been wanting to talk about that. I forgot to put that on my last video and stuff like that. That they showed. I think it's a What If show. I'm not sure. I don't watch it. But then they showed Rocket Raccoon and Groot getting annihilated. I think it's Thanos, zombie Thanos that takes him out. He blasts them and they straight up like evaporate. And I was like, what the hell? You know, like damn, that was badass. And then it's like, yo, it's like I get it. It's a What If, and it's like, did they just delete Guardians of the Galaxy with that? You know, like some part of it and stuff. And I was like, damn, if that was canon, that would be dope. That's Disney cleaning house. You know, like, all right, screw it. You know, like they went out in this timeline, so be it, and stuff like that. But I don't know, you know. But it's pretty interesting to see how I don't know. It's just like Marvel wants to fix things, but at the same time they screw things up. Um, who knows? Who knows what the hell they're trying to do? But I am excited for that Doomsday, and then soon they're gonna start filming Infinity War. I mean, not Infinity War. The hell, man. What is it? Secret Wars. Secret Wars. They're gonna be filming, and I know we're gonna be seeing a lot of things that are gonna be coming out left and right. I'm telling y'all right now. As soon as we start seeing next year's Spider Man, brand new day, and as we build up to it and stuff like that, we're gonna be seeing a lot of spoilers, a lot of leaks, a lot of things, which is fine. I don't care, honestly. I don't mind it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, people are going to be again interested in Marvel and the MCU, opposed to James Gunn and the DCU. James Gunn has had all this time to literally impress people and say, you know what, damn, you're cooking, and all he's been just serving is slop and more slop. And I'm like, dude, you literally you have no clue what you're doing. That's why once Marvel comes out, especially with I'm telling you right now, when they drop Doomsday, yo, it's over. It's over for DC, period. You know, and once they get closer to, Spider-Man and all that stuff, it's over. It's done. It's a done deal. Marvel's once again gonna claim their throne and they're gonna take the spotlight again. They're right now just chilling, doing what they have to do. And I'm telling you right now, with the way that things are going, and especially with this whole buyout that's being prepared, whoever acquires them, right? Whoever it buys them, it would be literally in the best point of interest for the fans, for the customers, for the consumers, and for this entertainment business. You know why? Because when you look at it, you're gonna have Marvel again going back up with the Avengers. IP, and everybody goes and buys the Avengers stuff. They buy merchandise, they buy everything. It's Avengers, it's gonna sell. DC could be doing the same thing with Justice League. But no, instead they want to focus on the shitty Justice Gang. Like, come on, man. Like, you really are going to try to compete with Marvel with the Justice Gang? Come on, man. Come on. Like, straight up, like, it's a joke. Like, how? How? There's no way that they're going to be able to go at it? Because we know it's gonna happen eventually. It's gonna say the same thing that happened while Zach was there. All DC versus Marvel, DC versus Marvel, the same crap it's going to do again. But on this one, I mean, just Marvel posting up pictures, it's already getting more attention than what James Gunn's putting out because nobody's interested, especially now with what James Gunn's doing with this whole Peacemaker. And I've been I've been showing y'all what he's doing with all that, I'm not gonna say the word, but with the N word, and it ends with the I, and it's like, yo, come on, like, yo, like, come on, man, like, this is what you're focused on. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's slop. It's just slop. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But this is what DC's allowing. They're allowing James Gunn to do whatever the hell he wants. This is gonna go down in history and forever. Now it's part of DC's history. It doesn't matter. You could go back and try to erase it. That shit's always going to be there. What they're doing with Dimension X, that's staying forever on the records with DC. I don't care. And like I said, they're just trying to normalize it. But they're just trying to satisfy the commies and stuff. And I don't care. Whoever tries to defend that, there should be no, oh, but it's part of the comic book. And look, if you're trying to justify and say, oh, because it's in the comic and you're entertaining yourself with that, you're straight up supporting it. Honestly, Captain America, Batman, Superman, they were all against, during World War II and whatever it was with history and stuff, against that regime, and they took them all down. They did what they were doing to fight for justice, for freedom, and that's what these characters stand for. Instead, James Gunn is like, you know what? Let's screw up the dimension. Let's go to whatever it's called X, and now he knows that the backlash is out. So he's like, oh, it's not gonna last long. Dude, you should have never touched that in the first place. You get what I'm saying? And the damage is done. That's it. There's no going back and, oh, we're gonna go ahead and erase it and it's not canon. Oh, here you're gonna start with the canon and what's not canon anymore. It's like, come on, man. It's like, how the hell are you gonna go and do that again? That's what he's gonna do. That's why I'm excited and I can't wait for Marvel to finally put out, Spider-Man, the Avengers, and do everything that they have to with that, because people were watching these movies. They would go out there and they would be entertained. And this is the moment when whoever buys the buyout for WB, they need to straight up bring Zach back. They need to bring back David Ayer, and they need to go and release the what do you call it? Go back to restore the Snyderverse. Because if they really want to go and compete against Marvel with the Avengers, you can't compete with the fucking Justice Gang of James Gunn. You just can't. You know what needs to go up against that? Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's already rated R. That's already badass. We've already seen what's there to come and what it's already preparing. And it's like, yo, you can't just leave that, abandon it, and be like, yo, it just happened in another timeline. Meanwhile, James Gunn's here and he's opening portals, and now he's talking about he's opening possibility to more dimensions. And I'm like, yo, what? Like, dude, like, so every fucking dimension is accepted besides the Snyderverse, right? That shit just all of a sudden it's disappeared into the abyss. It's clear that James Gunn doesn't care about the Snyderverse. He doesn't care about us, the Snyder fans. He doesn't care about anything that has to do with Zack Snyder. But that's his quote unquote friend, right? That's his friend. But he won't give him a shot and say, yo, come back. We know that your fans want you and we can all eat and we could all enjoy DC. No, he keeps on putting stops to it. He keeps on retcon and this is not connected. This is not this and this timeline and this and that. Yo, you just completely created a massive clusterfuck. And it's like, there's no going back and fixing it. At this point, the only way that you fix it is just clearly by going back the same way that Zach brought the Flash in the Snyder cut, and he rewind time when Darkseid, took over, and he reset it literally all the timeline. He literally went back and he restored everything in the timeline, meaning he erased everything from Joss Whedon and everything that WB had created. So it opens the doors to more things to come. The future Flash, future Batman, the Nightmare, timeline. You see Destro, you see Joker, you see Harley, she's dead, and these are all things. Yo, Darkseid finally takes over. So it's like, how do you not go back to that and continue it to end it properly? That's all we want, just closure to it, and that's what I think Marvel is doing. That they want to go now a more serious tone in the sense of they know that people want this type of style of movies. They want this type of entertainment. But knowing how the studios are and stuff like that, it's just a matter of time, I guess. We'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Hey, see us in the gang going to the baseball game tonight. Nice, enjoy yourself. Here's the question: where did these dimensions come from? Exactly, I agree with you, Raheem. Where did they come out of? Out of the blue? I get it, Superman, that there was like pocket dimensions or whatever they're called, but still, that doesn't explain it. It still doesn't justify it. It just doesn't. Gunn never explained it in Superman or Peacemaker. Yeah, exactly. It was just like going through the door, and again, he has no idea, no sense of guidance where he's going. He doesn't even know what he's doing. And by the way, James Gunn said, "Freeze dimensions portal that they're not part of the multiverse." Again, make it make sense. Then, Jeremy, explain to me that. You see what I'm saying? See how confused I am? They're dimensions portals, but they're not part of the multiverse. What? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so freaking confusing. At least Marvel, they open the portals and they explain and they connect things. James Gunn's just straight up opening portals left and right, doors, and it's like, yo, what the hell you doing? Like, clearly this dude is just he's incompetent. He has no clue what he's doing. He has too much power and he doesn't even know how to utilize it. I think the reason why there's less studio interference with Gunn is because the executives know how badly they screwed up by interfering with Snyder's plan. They don't want to repeat the same mistake. They don't want to repeat the same mistake. The mistake's already been done. But that's what I'm saying. Favoritism. They screwed over David Ayer, Zack Snyder, but they don't do nothing to James Gunn. So it's like, come on, man. Um, let's see. How Peter Safran won't find Batman to cast. Yeah, notice how Peter Safran's quiet. Warner Brothers never did have faith in DC, even though they own the brand. It's wild. It's really wild, and this is why they've been trying to make DC into the MCU for WB, and they keep dropping the ball. Yeah, the ball keeps dropping, and they have no idea how to pick it up. James Gunn is still, even if he wants to deny it, doing the multiverse. It's the truth. Yeah, yeah. Pretty much, he could call it whatever the hell he wants. He could call it dimensions, portals. He can call it, I don't know, just whatever it is. But yeah, it's still the multiverse. It's the average person like me. I look at it, I'm like, it's still the multiverse. I don't care what you try to do. Can DC hurry up with the DCU Batman already, or they're doomed? Yeah, yeah, but I don't see it happening, honestly. We'll see what happens, because with the way that they're with the way that DC is doing right now, they haven't been cooking, and it's showing because people are not watching the streaming services. The numbers keep going, they keep dropping every time. Merchandise doesn't sell, the ticket sales are not selling. That's telling you everything. That's a big, big, big red flag saying, yo, like, y'all need to get your shit together. Honestly, like DC, I'm telling you, and we're doing a fantastic job because we're not watching none of this. Honestly, the real fans, we're not watching this crap. Disney's Bob Iger. Oh, just in case, yeah, I do have that ringtone. You see? Let's see. Bob Iger also eats poop as well. John Cena career's in the toilet. He needs to stay in WWE because his acting career is done. Yeah, in WWE, I liked him, but I mean, now his acting, he's always John Cena in every movie. He's becoming like The Rock. It's literally the same thing every single place that he's at and stuff. Kai Weaver, what's up? They're already doomed. I don't want Gunn to touch Batman. Yeah, neither do I, honestly. And again, he did an interview recently, and he again mentioned Batmite. I don't know what his obsession is with Batmite. I really don't know what James Gunn's obsession is with Batmite. He keeps on talking about that character, and as a general audience, as a nobody, that's me right now. I don't know who the hell is Batmite. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a character that pops up in the Batman universe that he's just random, through imagination. Like what causes that character? I want to know what James Gunn can do with Batmite. Straight up, I'm telling y'all 100%. I want to know what he's gonna do with that character. You never liked John Cena. I remember when John Cena first appeared in WWE. I remember that's when WWE was still good. But now Man, it's trash, honestly. Dave Baut what? Oh yeah, Dave Bautista lied. He knew Peacemaker was crap, and he said hard pass James. Yeah, yeah. He passed on that. It would have been. Look, honestly, I would have loved to see Dave Bautista as straight up Bane. He was built for Bane. He has the height. He had the physique. That yo, he was perfect to be Bane. But James Gunn said no. I'm telling you, James Gunn said no. Who knows what James Gunn's gonna do and stuff like that. Let's see if David Zaslav don't see how much he messed up with James Gunn doing DC. I don't know what will be because Zaslav really messed up DC big time. Yeah, Zaslav's just waiting to get a big check when they offer him, hey, we want to buy your studio or the company and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, and hopefully he ends up selling it. He's an alien from another dimension. James Gunn will be fired. Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! I think he knows that his days are numbered at WB. He knows it. He knows that he's not gonna be around much at DC Studios. Um, you didn't like Tom Hardy as Bane. He was all right. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I'm 50-50 on Tom Hardy as Bane, honestly. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I like him, but at the same time I don't. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just felt like something was missing from that Bane, I guess. That's just me. I mean, I like what he did and stuff, but I don't know. I think they made him too much of a uh, like I don't want to say like a mercenary because he was, but I think they made him too much like involved with that whole I won't say the word, but you know like he was labeled like a T, if you get what I'm saying, you know. And I was like I don't like that, you know. I just didn't like how they portrayed him like that and stuff like that. Bane's supposed to be this I don't know, something else. I don't know. I just feel Christopher Nolan went a little too realistic, where I was like, damn dude, like that that ain't Bane, you know. At least for me. You just want to say that both Marvel and Paramount are doing the right thing for Marvel. They brought back Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. brought back the Russo brothers and Paramount. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're going back to what was working. So we got to give them credit. I do. I give them credit. Batman Brave and the Bold life story will not be good. Nope, I don't think so. And for Paramount, they brought back Michael Bay for the Transformers baby. Hell yeah, hell yeah! I can't wait to see what Michael Bay is gonna be cooking. Honestly, I can't wait for that. Straight up, that's gonna be interesting to see. Um, do you like Tom Hardy as Bane or Venom? Uh, Between Bane and Venom, damn, you know what? I think I liked him more as Bane. Straight up, I think I liked him more as Bane. I didn't like him as Eddie Brock. He was all right as Venom. You know, I like his version of Venom and stuff. I just feel that he was still missing the big the spider logo, whatever the hell he has in the chest. I was like, damn, you know, like I feel Sony dropped the ball on that one too. If DC hard reboots the DCU with a bad creator, I'm done. Yeah, I mean, I'm already done with DC right now, especially with what they're putting. That's why I'm not watching Peacemaker. Honestly, Superman was the last thing that I saw, and I am not interested in nothing else they're putting out. I am not watching the Batman 2. I'm not gonna be watching Supergirl. I'm not gonna be watching none of that crap. Honestly, Tom Hardy was good as realistic version of Bane. Simpsons 2 is on the way, coming soon to theaters. Yeah, for 2027. Wars of Marvel, what's up? Appreciate you for watching also. Hell yeah, you already know it. Restore the Snyderverse. I'm going to look forward to seeing Michael Bay's return to the Transformers franchise. Yeah, same here. I'm excited. I cannot wait. I want to see what he's going to cook, and whatever they're going to do with it, so be it. You know, whatever. As long as Michael Bay's going to be directing it, that's all I care. And when you look at it, Paramount doing that, them going back to what was working is a massive win for them, you know, because they're like, hey, we know that we already got away from Michael Bay. We tried 3 different takes, strike out, you're done. Let's go back to what was working. Unfortunately, it's true, you know. When the Transformers franchise was down like where it's at right now, it was doing bad before 2007. Who saved them? Michael Bay. When all these movies came out with Michael Bay, and you know, like they started getting, you know, money, and the brand started coming back up, who saved them? Michael Bay. When they finally reached $1 billion and everything was going good and people were loving it, yo, everything was good, right? Who did that? Michael Bay. That's why I'm like, yo, you got to give credit. And if WB were to let Zack Snyder do the same, I guarantee you that all, because remember, we were on the path to goodness. Aquaman, the first Aquaman made $1 billion. So that showed you that people were interested, and it was starting to go back up. Once Aquaman came out, and I get it. That's when it was transitioning from, the remaining or the ending of the Snyderverse and going into and entering the Hamadaverse, but it's showing you, yo, people want these characters. But no, the moment that, Shazam came out, things started going downhill. Once we entered deep into the Hamadaverse, it just started getting worse and worse and worse. It all started with Birds of Prey. Everything started flopping. And look at where we are right now with James Gunn. But then, justifying 600 million. Oh, they made money. Dude, you just made back your freaking budget. And then add on top of that the marketing and stuff like that. I mean, where's the real profit? And then faking all these numbers on streaming, it's just telling you, they're doing bad. DC is doing bad, and that's what I'm saying. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they're gonna be cooking with Marvel and stuff like that. And like I said, I know right now they're not putting out good stuff just because it's right now. But once Marvel starts focusing on that new Spider-Man, and it's supposed to be connected, and we already know it's gonna all be connected, of course, because remember in No Way Home, the multiverse, opened the door, the portal, whatever. And the same thing with Deadpool and Wolverine. They did the same thing. So things are connected, and they're erasing what doesn't work. And that's how you do it. You explain to the audience, all right, this character, we brought him back, but we're done with them. All right, cool. Damn, that's all you had to do. DC could have done the same thing. No, instead, DC is just like, we're gonna retcon, we're gonna do a reboot, a soft reboot, we're gonna do a reboot on a reboot. What? Like people are confused. People are so confused, and they're like, just people are losing interest. That's the thing. And there's no fatigue. It's just that people are just losing interest because it's too hard to keep up with. Because one thing connects, the other doesn't connect. This is a dimension. This one opens the door to this. This is part of the multiverse. This is not. Yo, like, there's way too much. There's way too much. And I think it's already proven by now. And I wish the executives in the studio would be listening to this. Maybe they are. It would be nice. But the way to fix it is by properly explaining. And that's what they don't do. They don't properly explain nothing. They just put it together, and if it works, it works. Like if it's a crack, they're just gonna be like, you know what, put a little super glue and it'll hold up. It'll hold up. People won't notice. When you can clearly see that crack is about to turn into like freaking the whole thing's gonna collapse. And that's where they are right now. It's just there's no repairing it anymore, honestly, at this point. The only way to really, really repair it is you have to literally, and I'm gonna say it just how it is. You have to do the same thing what Zack Snyder did with Justice League when he brought in Flash and Darkseid took over. Flash stopped that. He rewind time. Literally, he reset it the time of everything and everyone in all the universes. It wasn't, oh, it's just this part and then that one. No, that's what I'm telling you. The same way that James Gunn tried to erase the Snyderverse in the Flush 2023 by bringing in George Clooney. Oh, you're in another dimension again with the bullshit of the dimensions. Zack Snyder did it. He did it. He did it right. He knew what he was doing. He was like, yo, I'm gonna erase Joss Whedon's Justice League, and boom, we got that. Even Patty Jenkins came out. They were like, no, the proper timeline for Wonder Woman is from Zack Snyder's Justice League. You had these directors, yo, it connects into that. But the WB, again, trying to get away from it, trying to be away. Oh, dude, just let him do his thing. Let him cook. And they wouldn't be in this mess. We could have been past the Snyderverse, and we would have been right now on whatever the hell James Gunn's trying to do. All right, cool. We wouldn't be in this collision, if you want to say. But no, James Gunn chose to do all of this, and he brought this upon the whole brand. This is why the fans are so divided. You got Matt Reeves fans, Snyder fans, you have James Gunn fans, you have all type of fans. Instead, look at Marvel. Look at what Marvel does. Yo, we brought in Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, cool. We're gonna go back and erase this Wolverine from this time. We're gonna go back and erase this Deadpool from the Fox version. This is the new Deadpool. Plain and simple. What's so hard to do that? But again, James Gunn knows that he's lying. He's bullshitting everybody. The trail has followed him. There's no way to cut back anymore and cover all that. It's too late. It's far too deep. Only way to go and do that is simply by, if Zack Snyder comes back, he restores the Snyderverse, brings the Flash, he resets all of this. And in that reset, I'm talking about like he straight up, everything with James Gunn doesn't even happen. That shit gets erased. Literally, starting from the Suicide Squad. All of that shit gets erased. So all those characters that he brought in, everything, Peacemaker, all that shit fades away. The same way like when Thanos snapped the fingers, boom, everything was gone. That's just how he needs to do again. He needs to cleanse everything that's inside the studio in the sense of the damage that the studio executives have caused and have allowed. That's the big problem right there, you know? But who knows? Let's see what happens. Like I said, we're all excited. We're all waiting for this buyout, and time's gonna tell and let us know what's gonna happen with that. Because I, for one, I can't wait. I can't wait. Once these bids start going up and everything is going up with these studios, it's gonna be interesting, you know. And Marvel knows that that bid is coming. Don't think that Marvel's just chilling. Oh yeah, whatever. Nah, Marvel should be also with Disney. They should be worried because they know that whoever acquires them, I mean, they hear me and they hear everybody that's still talking about the Snyderverse, restore Snyderverse. There's no stopping us, period. We know that Darkseid is ready. He's on standby in that universe. All right? You think Disney isn't afraid knowing of what Zack Snyder has created and what's still there? And if another studio, let's say it's Paramount, let's say it's Skydance, let's say it's Comcast, let's say it's Netflix, if they acquire it, you think that they're not going to go back and say, you know what? Let's go back the same way that Marvel and now Transformers are going back to Michael Bay and they're going back to the Russo brothers. Hell, hell, we know it's not working with James Gunn. Let's bring in Zack Snyder, let's bring in David Ayer, and let's continue and pick up where things left off. See what I'm saying? We still need Justice League 2 and 3. You can't just leave that up in the air. Meanwhile, you got the Avengers continuing and going, and everything is expanding, and everything is making money. You think these studios don't see that? Of course they do. That's why it cracks me up when these James Gunn fans are like, oh, the Snyderverse is never going to make a comeback. Yes, it is. You told us the same thing, that we would never get the Snyder cut. And boom, in your face, we have it now. And just like that, we will stop at nothing and we will get the restoration of the Snyderverse. And just like that, Disney is watching and they know that if they drop the ball, they know that whoever acquires WB, they're going to go back to what was working. And they know that they're going to bring in Zack Snyder and David Ayer and continue from where things left off. You can't just leave that and just sweep that under the rug. No, you can't. And once that does make a return, I'm telling you right now, that's when it's going to go real, real big, where we're going to be seeing, you know, DC versus Marvel, because now you're gonna see DC on steroids, just like Zack Snyder, what he does with his work. You know, like he makes these alpha characters. You know, he makes these characters that are like, yo, these are badasses. These are gods. These are straight up. These are characters. You get what I'm saying? He's not gonna do like James Gunn. He puts like these pussy characters and oh, this sensitive bullshit. No, no, no. Or like how Marvel be doing with their woke shit and this agenda and this, it's catering to the alphabet. Fuck all that. Zack Snyder doesn't fuck around. He gives quality, he delivers quality. This is why he's working with the UFC. He's working right now with Paramount. He's working and preparing things with Netflix. This is why. And Disney's scared of that shit. And I can't wait. I can't wait for this buyout to finally happen. This is why you see all these James Gunn cultists nervous, because they know that the moment that this shit sells, it's over. It's over. James Gunn's going to be fired. The DCU is going to be wiped away. And we're going to go back to what worked, which was the DCEU with Zack Snyder and David Ayer. With that, my friends, I want to say thank you for watching. I'm going to catch you to the next one. Keep posted. Keep sharing the videos. I thank y'all everywhere for everything, my friends. Catch y'all on the next video. Peace.